Most salaried people think their job is safe until one meeting changes everything. Amresh had just been promoted. A month later, HR called him into a meeting and he was fired. And the first thought in his mind was, who will pay for my 50 lakh home loan? That was only the first shock. He was fired again in 6 months. He eventually rebuilt everything and became financially free at 48. If you are someone who depends on a salary, has EMIs, has family responsibilities, or thinks financial freedom feels too far away, this episode is worth watching. Hi everyone, welcome back to the long game. My guest today is Amaresh. Thank you, Amaresh, for joining us today.
Thank you, me here for hosting me in.
So, Amaresh, I want to start with the most difficult part of your story. So, you were fired twice in 1 year. Can you take us
Mhm.
back to that phase? Like, what happened there?
Just to give a background, 2015, my dream of financial freedom, I had put the plan for it, just a plan. So started in 2016. Jan was the date, like a New Year resolution started with a plan, and then it was going. Right, the first month investment had started. Some 10, 15 people were asked to move on. So that was a shocker. That was the first time we faced it in India. It was very psychologically affected my mind. So it took me another few months to get into the job, another 4, 5 months. And then we were in that job and it was going on. Come 2017, because of, again, management decision that they don't want to continue this division of this one. So this was a huge cut there. That was a startup. And then that's when I realized it's always good to be part of the big organizations and then continue my financial freedom journey. Psychologically, it affected the first one, but the second one, I was prepared and then started with my emergency funds, started looking into it, early part of my financial freedom. But one thing you need to learn is your income is not permanent and expenses are permanent and your job is not permanent. Irrespective of what you do, the corporate decisions, it's not your fault, but the corporate decisions are such that it leads to mostly the exit, the cost cutting which happens. So we all need to be prepared. And this is a message to the people who say I have a fantastic job, well paying job. Yes, it's good for tonight, but tomorrow morning you don't know what happens.
So, what was the first money related thought that came to your mind? Was it expenses, EMIs, family, kids, future plans? Like, when you were getting fired, what was that first thought which was money related?
Yeah, the first thing was, oh man, who will pay my loans? EMIs are typically the big component of your expenditure. I was like, man, I do have a housing loan, 50 lakhs, and then who is going to pay for that, right? And then, of course, the rest of the things came into picture. But within a day or two, I settled since it was a golden handshake. But psychological thing, right? It was Friday evening, 3 o'clock. I was called into the meeting and then said, a month before that, I had a promotion, by the way. So I went into the meeting. HR was sitting. I was like surprised what's going on. HR is sitting. And then suddenly my super boss from US also logged into the call. And then they said, unfortunately, we have to fire you along with certain people. And this is what it is. And then tough moments, right? I was in a shocker. I didn't know what to do at that moment, right? They said money will be to you and then do it. But the biggest thing is I didn't tell that in my home, right? So it's psychological feeling, right? 2 nights like this. The Monday, as usual, I went to office because though I was fired, I don't know, I can't go to the office at all. But as usual, I went to the office and then came back in the evening. I told my wife that this has happened. So this is what we have to look for it. So, after thinking all the thoughts, understanding how much the payout is going to come and all that.
Right. Your wife will be thinking why this guy is sad over the weekend.
Yeah.
Suddenly, what happened? Right. Okay. So I think this is very relatable, right? Because many professionals build their whole life around salary. As long as the salary is coming in, everything feels stable. But when income stops, you suddenly see how fragile that system really is. So,
Right.
do people assume that salary will always keep coming every month, increments will continue, and then the career growth will happen in a straight line?
I think I have spoken to 300 to 350 families. One thing they always have is a single income, salary income. And if wife is working, that is another income. And they always feel, no, that is good. I have done this. I have achieved this. I have given this promotion and that, right? The same guys came back to me after 2 years saying that unfortunate event happened, right? So I had told them clearly we had prepared the emergency fund. I understand you're doing good now, but things are fast paced now in the AI world. The changes are happening very, very fast. Earlier,
Mm.
impact of technological change used to take 5 years. It's now 5 months, or I would say 5 days, right? So fast decisions are happening. Look at the big companies. They want to invest heavily onto the data centers, right?
Mm.
AI data centers. And where the money is going to come from? Fire the employees.
Layoffs.
Right? That is what it's going to happen. So you should not depend on one income, have a multiple streams, and it's all allowed in the corporate world.
Got it. Yeah, so I just that is my coming to the next question. Like with layoffs, the AI and the automation and so many roles are changing faster. So how should one plan for their financial freedom number?
So one, it's irrespective of AI, irrespective of layoff, irrespective of anything, right? First, think why you need the money for the future.
Mm.
One, for your own expenses once you retire, your own expenses, monthly expenses you have to take. And if you live till the age of 90, all that expenses needs to be covered. That is a big chunk of your financial freedom corpus,
Right.
right? It run in crores in Indian rupee.
Mm.
Because if I'm spending a lakh per month now, after 15 years, that will be almost 3 lakhs per month.
Mm.
Same lifestyle. I always tell this 1 liter of milk, if you are consuming, same 1 liter of milk you consume to one time a movie, but your expenditure would be 3 lakh per month because of inflation. Have that
Right.
money, right? Calculation, there are calculators. Second, if you're married, you have kids' higher education is a big cost. I mean, you'll take care of
Mm.
a primary and higher school education, but if you go towards the college, engineering, medical, arts, LLB, now everything is costly, right? You end up in
Mm.
minimum 20 lakhs now. But if a kid is 10-year-old, another 8 years, the kid has to come out to do those things. Then it means around 40 lakhs you need it because inflation of education is 10 to 12%, right? Similarly for a marriage, similarly for a foreign tours, similarly going debt free. With this, you have a purpose of that financial freedom value. If you sum up all the future values of these goals, it might come to 10 to 12 crores for a family as of now. And
Mm.
that is your financial freedom corpus. Think of a human mind. If I tell you, Amaresh, you have to make 10 crore in next 10 years, you'll say, okay, we'll try to make it. But it may happen, may not happen. Because it's just a goal somebody has given. But Amaresh, you have to make 10 crores because your two kids are there, their higher education of 2 crores, you need it. For their marriage, another 1 crore, you need it. For your own retirement life after 60 to 90, you need another 7 crores. Totally 10 crores,
Mm.
you have to make it. Then the mind will run to
Mm.
make sure that you have the corpus of 10 crores. There has to be a purpose behind it. You have to be rewarded for something.
Mm.
So to
Right.
answer your
So let's make it very practical. So someone, let's say, suppose they are in their 30 and they have family responsibilities, they maybe have an EMI, and then they want to become financially free in the next 15 years, right? So what should they do first?
first thing, put that goal. Have that long shot, a moon shot, what you say. How much is
Mm.
do you need? Some
Mm.
people need, they're happy with 1 crore. Some
Mm.
people need 5 crores. Some people need 15 crores.
So how do we calculate that number? Like how
So
much do I need?
we calculate based on goals. Your two kids, higher education this much, future value. You're retiring at 45. For a 30-year-old, 45, you want to retire. From
Mm.
46, you need expenditure to run.
Mm.
The expenditure till the age of 90. So there is a
Mm.
calculator, sir. Use it, or they can contact me. I'll give my Excel sheet, which they can use
Mm.
it to calculate. Right. So those things
Mm.
are available. So that is where first you need to have that goal. Maybe
Mm.
10 crores, 12 crores. That becomes a moonshot. Initially,
Mm.
you feel that, oh man, I don't think so. In my life, I learned that 12 crores. Right.
Right.
Maybe whatever it comes, it's your lifestyle. Right. That is a first step. Never worry whether you'll make that money or not, but have that goal.
Mm.
I'll
Mm.
tell my own example. In 2015, when I put a goal of 5 CR as my financial freedom value with a purpose behind it, my target was to gift myself a financial freedom at the age of 50. I was
Mm.
39 at the age of
Mm.
50. So another 10 years was my runway. And 5 crore, big money, right? 2016, having a
Yeah.
5 crore was a big money. Believe me, I achieved that in 8.5 years.
Mm.
Mind was so good that it started looking at, oh, Amaresh, your current salary is not sufficient to achieve the goal.
Mm.
Then how do I increase the income? Nobody will
Right.
give me higher salary, right?
Mm.
Then somewhere I read, upgrade your skills, uplift your
mm,
skills. Income is the byproduct of your skills, the current market skills. I upgraded myself to the various skills which I wasn't even had experience, and then looked
mm,
out. My salary jumped 70%, 50% kind of these things when I changed. Right. So mind find it out. Right. Even when I was working for a large corporations, the hikes were
mm,
like percent, 3%. Right.
yeah.
But my urge was to achieve the financial freedom. I
Mm,
figured out a way wherein I worked with a 3 or 4 levels above me, general managers and above,
mm,
right? So my activities are such that they started recognizing me,
mm,
started bypassing the rest of them and started connecting to me to make sure that certain things to be done. They said, Amaresh,
mm,
whatever we give you, get it done. So
mm,
that GM has a huge corpus under him who's
right.
managing $1 billion business, right?
Mm,
For him, giving a hike of 25% is nothing for me
mm,
alone, right? Even if
right.
my manager doesn't give me, I mean,
Mm,
you'll have to have good relations all the chain, but manager gives me 2 to 3%, but the top
mm,
boss gives me 25 to 30% because it's coming from his kitty.
mm.
So you're internalizing that thought process that I have to achieve something and what changes has to happen. Your subconscious mind, knowingly, unknowingly, will capture those opportunities and then you will reach that position.
So you talk about family financial freedom. Like I like that phrase because normal fire often sounds very individual, like my number, my retirement, my freedom. But in Indian families, freedom is rarely just an individual decision. So what does family freedom mean to you?
See, you have a family, right? You have spouse, your kids, right? Everybody is mostly dependent on your income.
Mm,
Papa, get me this. Papa, give me this. Papa, I want to do these things. Our wife, hey, I want to look for these aspects,
mm,
right? So, and you have obligation to take care of them, right? That is your duty. This thought of family, right? But if you're running a solo for a financial freedom, and the other
mm,
side family is asking for certain things for you, right? And they are not supporting your financial freedom journey, then you will not be successful.
mm,
For you to achieve that true financial freedom, the whole family have to support you. One way is budgeting, other way is freeing you up to make sure that you upgrade the skills and then grow up, right? Income
mm,
increases. Other thing is, give that environment within a family that, we are on a mission to achieve financial freedom as a family. So
mm,
once all entire family works with you, and that's what helped me also to achieve a financial freedom earlier target, say 8.5 years
mm.
rather than 10 years. So that's the
Right.
reason I always talk about financial freedom with the
Mm,
family. And your
mm,
second thing is your investment decisions. Invest here to grow more, invest there to grow more has to be joined.
right.
Reason being, one side you invest, but a family opposes it, you may not get a
Mm,
return. I'm telling you.
mm,
There are celestial forces which absorbs your environment around you and then help you to grow.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
Third aspect is at the end of the day, you are because of your family.
Mm,
What will you do alone with the financial freedom?
yeah. Got it. So when we talk about family security, I think one of the biggest risks is fixed commitments. Like you have EMIs. So when salary is coming in and your EMI feels manageable, but when salary stops, right, that same EMI becomes a lot of pressure. So why do Indian families underestimate this EMI risk?
See, people say we have to take a loans, right? So, but loans, there are good loans, there are bad loans. The good loans are the business loans and the housing loan. Business loan, people take it, it's earning and it's invested on something, returns are coming, and then you're repaying back the loan.
Mm,
Housing loan, you're building on your home, right? So
mm,
it's well protected, collateralized. But people run behind the show offs and get into the personal loans, credit card loans, that expenditure, buying this, I know, say big mobile phones which they don't require it, or TV, they don't require it, a holiday, they don't require it, right? On a credit card. It's
mm,
basically your own psychological feeling of that I have done something great today and then I'll show it off. And
mm,
you don't understand that there are big people who will be much better than you in your friendship circle, right?
right.
Once you change your psychological feeling, then you'll be in a right. But otherwise, yes, yesterday I met a couple. Their earning is almost somewhere around 4.5 lakhs per month. Both of them are working in a good position, good company, four and a
Mm,
half lakhs. And then they asked him, what is your saving? Zero. And then they started opening up. Their EMIs are going somewhere around 3 lakhs per month. Two home
okay.
loans. 3 personal loans, 1 education loan, 3 credit card loans. This is a situation. I said, yeah, what you've done till now is fantastic. But if you run with the same type of aspects, if you don't change your habits, after 60 also you'll be talking on the loan, right? So this is the psychological habitual shift one has to do it to get into a financial freedom mode. Otherwise, yes, people live for today, you live for today, but future is bleak. It's not going to help you.
Yeah, today's generation they run with this YOLO, right? You only live once, that attitude, and then they don't really know what happens tomorrow. If even one of them loses the job, right? Then they don't have enough money to even pay EMIs. Like
True.
they will have to drastically either take up another loan to pay this EMI, and then it's just a rabbit hole downwards.
Yeah, it's a
So,
contagious. It's one loan, repay it with another loan, repay it with another
yeah.
loan, it continue.
Right. So what is that one advice you probably gave them? Like how should they start their journey now?
Start with a small investment. Habit has to be formed. I'm not asking you to invest multiple lakhs. Even for that family, also we said start with the 5,000. Right? We will consolidate loans into one or housing loan and then reduce the rest of the loans. Cut off all your credit cards and then throw it off unless your habit is improved. Start small investments. Habit has to be formed. That habit once formed for 6 months, I know from 5,000 you'll go to 50,000 per month investment. Right? After all, when you are in education, when you are a student, you did not spend this much.
Yeah.
Right? You know, you have gone through that life. Now, why are you spending so much? Right?
So did they think that these two houses that they have is that like an investment itself?
Yeah. They were thinking one house is an investment and another house they live it. I explained it. See, one house where you're living is fantastic. Other house may be investment, may not be investment because it goes with the valuation of that area. Sometimes people get a luck with a 3x in profit. That's good. But sometimes even for 20 years, the value would have gone to 1x, 2x only. Right? So it's dicey there. You have to do it. But yes, home loan is killing that. All your profits. Best thing would be invest on a land and invest on an equity, not on the apartment.
So I've heard so many people saying that okay, after fire you at least need a house that you own, like because you don't want to pay rent. So why did you choose to stay in a rented house, becoming
Right.
financially
Okay.
independent?
Yeah, let me not get into that owning a house or renting a house, right? Practically, this is what situation of me is. I have a house in Bangalore, a house which is there in a different location. This house where I'm living from last 10 years, I'm continuing to stay in a rented house, big house, 3 BHK. I'm continuing to stay here even after fire. Is that my children's school is nearby. I am retired, but they are not, right? Everything
True.
is set up here. And then once their schoolings are over, they once across that +2 or PUC2, then I'll move out to my own house or some other good houses. But this is a practical scenario. I'm living with it. So I don't want to get into that, whether you own a house or not own a house. It's all individual. One has to make a economical calculations. One house, emotionally you buy it, that is good, no value for it. But the second house is economical, one has to look for.
Okay. So now we have spoken a lot about fear and risk, right? I want to understand the rebuilding part now. So because the most powerful part of your story is that even after being fired twice, the plan did not collapse, right? People often described your story as financially free at 48 with 5 crores. But what do people misunderstand about that journey?
A lot of people understand that I had a big salary. Or I was there in US and then he had a big money earlier. Right? So please understand, I'm like you guys. I had a money when I returned from US. I spent all that. In 2015, when I started my fire fire kind of aspect, I was minus 50 lakhs net worth because had a loan of 50 lakhs. Little bit very low investments. It doesn't match that. So that is the position I was to it. My salary wasn't great. When I started thinking, I was able to make only 50,000 per month investment. Right. And then, yes, once that goal came into picture, urge to achieve came into picture, and the life after financial freedom, how it's going to be. Recently, I went on a vacation for almost 2 months because my kids had a vacation. I also went out.
Nice.
Right. So those thoughts kept my goal alive. And then my skill set improvement happened and I increased my salary. My last salary was huge jump from what I was having it.
Mm.
So people misunderstand me on two aspects. One, people say, oh, Amaresh had a big salary, so he was able to invest more. No, I was able to invest only 50,000. To achieve 5 crores, I was supposed to make an investment of 2 lakhs per month.
Mm.
That is what it is. There is no inheritance also.
Right. So, was there a time when you felt this financial freedom may get delayed or may not happen at all for you?
Multiple times. Every month, oh man, I don't have money to invest. I'm getting fired. I'm not getting a job. I'm talking first 2 years was that. I'm not getting a job.
Mm.
Job is not good. My manager is pathetic. I have to spend here. Oh, I did not spend here. I did not go for a tour. I have to go for a tour. Multiple times I went through that. But somehow I don't know from where I had that energy.
Mm.
Goal was kept intact. Plans were getting changed, but the goal was kept intact that I have to achieve financial freedom by December 2025 with a 5
Mm.
crore, 5.5 crore corpus. But
Nice.
all this flipped in 2020-21 when I
Mm.
saw my corpus started growing up. Somewhere around one third of that corpus I had achieved, and then
Mm.
realized, man, it's possible. I'm getting confidence. Let's make it faster. Then
Yeah.
2022, full confidence where I had reached 50 to 50, 60% of this one. And then
Mm.
I retired in with that confidence. My increment also happened 70%. This is where
Mm.
importance comes into picture, right? More the
Yeah.
confidence, more you do better in a job, and then automatically people will start recognizing it.
So, after everything you've gone through, right, being fired twice, rebuilding, and become financially free at 48, what does financial freedom mean to you today?
Financial freedom means to me is good health, no stress, doing what I want to do it, no obligation to do certain things which I don't want to do it, relax,
Mm.
and then of course focus on my passion. This is the
Mm.
financial freedom for me, and mostly this is applicable to many. Vacations, staying on a beach is a part of that. Traveling is a part of that, where we call that something we want to do what we want to do and when we want to
Mm.
do it.
Someone remembers only one line from your story. What should that line be?
A salaried person with a low income also can achieve financial freedom.
Mm.
If you look at the comments on various podcasts which I have, they say genuinely this guy has explained, and this is a situation of many. They just have to take a steps.
I really like this conversation because the real test of financial freedom is not whether you can say you retired early. The real test is if salary suddenly stops, does your family panic or do you have options? Right?
True.
For me, the big takeaway in this was very simple. Like salary is not security, options is security. Right. So thank you so much for doing this. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then yes, take that
Mm.
small step. Habit changes. Subconscious mind comes into picture. It'll make happen. You will achieve it. I guarantee you.
Thank you so much. If you found this conversation useful, you'll definitely enjoy the next one I've linked here. And if you want more real conversations like this, make sure you subscribe. I'm bringing one of these every week.